Have you ever thought about the hidden cost of buying something brand new? There's this invisible force at play. It's called depreciation, and it's literally shrinking the value of your stuff from the moment you get it. Let's dig into how it all works.
So let me ask you this. Think about the last really nice thing you bought. Maybe a new phone, a car, or even a piece of jewelry. What do you think it's worth right now, at this very moment? The answer, well, it can be a little shocking, because a lot of our favorite things start losing money the second we call them ours.
In fact, our source for this, Wealth Pulse, points out a few key things that are especially bad when it comes to losing value. We're going to break down some of the biggest offenders so you can see exactly where that money just seems to disappear.
But before we get into the list, let's just make sure we're on the same page. So, depreciation is just a fancy word for something losing value over time. You know, things get old, they get used, but the real kicker isn't that it happens. It's the speed at which it happens for certain things that is just mind-blowing.
All right, let's start with the big-ticket items. You know, the purchases that can make a huge dent in our finances right from day one.
And what's the classic example of a huge purchase? A brand spanking new car. Oh man, that new car smell, right? The flawless paint. For a lot of people, it's a huge milestone. But that amazing feeling, it comes at a really steep and immediate price.
50%. I mean, just let that sink in. Imagine taking half the money you just spent on your car and just letting it blow away. Because that's pretty much what happens with depreciation. So how fast does this actually happen?
And get this, we're not talking about a slow decline over a decade. A new car can lose up to half its value in just the first 3 years. Think about that for a second. By the time you might be halfway through paying off your car loan, the car itself is only worth half of what you paid for it. Ouch.
Okay. A car is a machine. It's got moving parts, wear and tear. It kind of makes sense. But what about something that we're told is a forever investment? Something that's supposed to be timeless?
Well, here's the tricky part about new jewelry. The price you pay in the store, that's not just for the gold or the gemstone. It's loaded with markups for the brand name, the marketing, and of course, the store's profit. But the second you try to sell it, all that extra stuff vanishes. Its value crashes down to just what the raw materials are worth. And that gap, it can be absolutely massive.
We're talking a gap as big as 70%. Immediately, the moment you walk out that door, your new investment could be worth just a fraction of what you paid. That is a brutal drop for something we think of as a safe place to put our money. You know, it's not just the huge one-time purchases that get us. For a lot of us, the real trap is in the stuff we replace all the time. Those smaller, frequent losses. They can add up to a real fortune over the years.
I'm talking about that constant upgrade cycle with our gadgets and our clothes. I mean, think about your smartphone. It feels like we're programmed to want the newest, shiniest model every single year. But that constant desire for the latest and greatest has a serious hidden cost. According to this source, a new iPhone can lose about 40% of its value every single year. It's like clockwork, so by the time you're ready to upgrade after 2 or 3 years, its trade-in value is just a ghost of what you originally paid.
And it's the exact same story with designer clothes. That trendy new bag feels like a must-have right now, but fashion moves at lightning speed. Once that trend is over, the resale value can absolutely plummet. We're talking 20 to 50% fast. That it item suddenly becomes yesterday's news.
So all of this sounds kind of depressing, doesn't it? But it doesn't have to be. The whole point here isn't to stop buying nice things. The real key is to shift how we think, to go from just spending money to consciously owning things of value.
Let's take books as a perfect example. A book's whole purpose is the story inside, right? The words are the exact same, whether the cover is pristine or a little bit worn. But a used copy can easily be 50% cheaper. This is where we can start making really smart moves.
And that simple idea leads to this super practical way of thinking. First, just ask yourself, is paying extra for new really worth it? What am I getting for that premium? Second, make it a habit to check out secondhand options for cars, for books, even for designer clothes. And third, really think about why you're buying something. Do you need it to do a job, or are you just paying for status that's gonna fade anyway? At the end of the day, being smart with money isn't about depriving yourself. It's about understanding the huge difference between an item's sticker price and its actual long-term value. It's about making choices that build you up financially instead of slowly draining your bank account. So I'm going to leave you with this one final thought. The next time you're about to make a big purchase, just stop and ask yourself this question. Are you actually buying an asset, something that will hold its worth, or are you just paying a lot of money to rent a temporary feeling? The answer might just change everything.
Today's explainer was based on some great insights from Wealth Pulse. If you're into daily facts about money and building wealth, you should definitely give them a follow. Thanks for tuning in.